Welcome to Chasing the Murderer, everyone, and I hope everyone is having a great week. Today, I'm wanting to go over a story I really struggle to cover. My heart is broken, so broken, because it's one of the cases that had very many warnings, in my opinion. If only someone would have had a chance to help this family, maybe it could have been prevented altogether. We're talking about 14-year-old Madeline Soto from Kissimmee, Florida, lived in Hunters Creek. She had just turned 14 years old. So this young girl, we're told that she was dropped off on February 26th of 2024 by this creepy boyfriend of her mom's at school. I'm not going to go into major details of how the story come to be. You have to check out the older videos, but we'll put a little bit in here. So her mother, Jen Soto, has a difficult time coming to terms that her boyfriend, Stephan Sterns, who has zero to little physical relationship with her, may be responsible for her daughter's disappearance. But police immediately get the idea that Stephan Sterns might be a person of interest, and they do so from the very beginning. So why is it that Stephan Sterns is a person of interest for police at the very beginning? Well, we're learning because Jen Soto, Stephan Sterns, and Madeline Soto slept in the same bed. This would be immediate red flags for anyone who heard that they were doing this. According to Jen Soto, she, Stephan, her 13-year-old daughter, slept in the same bed in the same room most nights. Even more concerning is the fact that Stephan Sterns sometimes slept alone with Maddie. After Maddie's disappearance, police later discovered Maddie's remains 20 miles away about from Hunters Creek, where she lived, and St. Cloud. Police learned that one of the last people to have seen Maddie was actually Stephan Sterns, and that's because Jen Soto had sent Stephan Sterns and her daughter to sleep alone in a guest bedroom. Again, I want to stress that this is very odd to many people, considering that this is a boyfriend, this is not dad, and for many, many women, they are questioning why Jen would trust this guy in that way. The reason for this is Jen was tired. She had been working several jobs, and she wanted to sleep alone so that she could get a good night's rest. That being said, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to determine that Jen's boyfriend just shouldn't be sleeping alone with her daughter. And I believe that Jen Soto believed that deep inside. But what made her go against that intuition? It appeared to me that Jen seemed very controlled by Stephan and isn't certain if she realized how much of a manipulating liar she was dealing with. It seems to me and several others, and this is in fact, that Jen had a very rocky relationship with her daughter. And that is the place where Stephan could actually hook his claws into both of these women or young girls and use it as a way to control the situation and manipulate it in a way that he could be basically a hero to both. Someone they could rely on to fix this distraught relationship. Men who abuse youth are good at seemingly being caretakers, a giving hand, looking out for your best interests. All the while, they plunge a sharp object into your back and leading you away from this leaking red fluid that will ultimately and surprisingly end the life as the way you knew it. Jen was definitely surrounded by this master manipulator the entire time the police are searching for her missing daughter, Madeline Soto. If you look back on media footage, you see him, Stephan, always standing beside Jen in most cases while the media asked questions about her very missing daughter. Stephan appeared to be of support and part of the search effort for his girlfriend and for his girlfriend's daughter. But was he really? Many times when you see him on this footage, his arms are crossed, many times suggesting that he was very uneasy in this situation. And I always wondered, why is it that he would sit there and listen to so intently to Jen speaking to the media? Considering the fact that Stephan, being a master manipulator that he is, wants to know how much everyone knows, what Jen's excuses are. Most likely the reason for that is to play the situation the direction he wants it to go. That is how it is done the entire time when you're dealing with a manipulator. He is a master at influencing and controlling others to gain advantage for himself. And again, in order to do that, he must be very great at convincing Jen that she and Stephan have done nothing wrong, and that he did this by making police, everyone else around him, question themselves. This includes his rationing and belief that sleeping with a 13-year-old was warranted. As we do not know Jen Soto, we do not know Stephan Sterns. We can only try to understand who they are by the evidence presented to us and the somewhat truthful media that's out there. For me, it seems that Jen did trust Stephan without a question, so much so that when police nearly immediately pointed towards her boyfriend when her daughter went missing, she was in denial. Even after police showed her pictures of abuse from her boyfriend's own phone. And it seems that Stephan used her own daughter, Maddie, to gain trust and support, to have the access he wanted to her daughter, which you could call is kind of like it's another manipulator's tactic, referred to as triangulation. It's no doubt that Stephan has used several people in his life to make him seem like a victim or a trusting, innocent person with a soul. And I truly believe that Stephan, being a manipulator, used several tactics, one of them being to make Maddie feel isolated and that he would be the one that would be there for her and be the hero when she needed one. But Maddie didn't seem to be a very stupid child at all. In fact, I believe that she was showing signs that she might have knew something was wrong and that she found Stephan at times to be this very creepy guy. And I've often wondered, since he's mentioned medication multiple times, if he used more than, emotional tactics in order to control Maddie. Stephan's pretty much incriminated himself while trying to defend what he was doing that he knew most likely would be picked up on camera or by some other means. Given excuses as to why Maddie was in his car and she seemed limp. She was sleeping. And after that, when he brought up the medication, that raised many red flags for me. And I'm waiting on the toxicology report. That's going to be very interesting to me. I believe that he was drugging her. So let's see. Now, I believe projection was another manipulative tactic that Stephan was using. We don't know just how far his manipulation tactics went. But it was evident that Stephan love bombed both women, both Jen and Madeline, to feel as if he cared about their well-being, their emotional distress, and their needs. How is it that this creepy guy could get away with this? I mean, a lot of people are wondering, a lot of people are like, I can point him out a mile away. Well, he preys on their low self-worth, doubts of their own person. Okay, this is how far behind I am, guys. So, I guess it's been 7 days, and there's several documents that have been released by prosecutors attached to this case. And I like to get a hold of it before it ever gets to the public. But this year has been kind of tough for me, so I wasn't able to do that. So I'm having to go through this and study it so that I can bring out the truth. Man, I've seen. I guess it was it a few things now where that they posted on these documents that was just irrationally wrong. It's just that's scary, guys. While we, have quite a bit of information, a lot of it that's been released, it isn't always solid information. And really, how some of this information is attached to the victims or the suspects, or, well, we don't know exactly because they don't give us everything. Prosecutors are keeping that stuff behind the curtain for a future trial. So, one thing that I'm looking into right now a little bit more deeply is the notebook / journal that they're passing around. So, many believe that this is a journal that a therapist kind of encouraged their clients to use as a treatment. And because these pages are out there without any facts of where they come from and how they come to be, we really have zero answers as to what those journals are. According to investigators, it seems to them that both Maddie and her mother, Jen, were using this notebook. And so they're taking some of the things that are written very articulately, like an adult, pointing out how smart Maddie is. But what we're learning is it wasn't written by Maddie at all. Now, something that is very, very important to me, and we'll talk about more on that later as I research it, because I do not like to talk about something I don't know about too much. Not when I'm not doing breaking news. Let's see. So this right here interests me very much. And it looks like that Stephan might have used drugs to have his way with Maddie as suspected. There is just more evidence here that police are finding that he was searching online and wanting to seek answers on a very powerful drug referred to as an anesthetic. And this was before Maddie passed away. We hear that Stephan was abusing poor Maddie for, could be, when she, since she was 8 years old, but certainly the last couple of years. And people are wondering how in the world would he get away with something like this for so long? Well, medication could be an answer to some of those questions. He mentions medication several times, and that has always been a concern. What was he doing to Maddie? What was he giving her? And even more evidence is coming forward suggesting that Maddie might not have been in her right mind or even there, because it appears that she might have been sleeping on some of that media that they have. And the only thing I could be thankful for this, if you could be thankful at all, is that perhaps maybe Maddie didn't experience any of it or go through any suffering during her last hours. Did Maddie believe that she was just having bad dreams? I mean, she wake up the next day not understanding why, she had these marks or bruises. So it's me interesting to see once it goes to trial, what they're going to find in her system and what they believe might have happened to Maddie. Now, many people are talking about some information that come out where Jen is in denial. I mean, it's obvious she's in denial. I mean, most of us would be in denial if you didn't believe your loved one was capable of doing this. But this is after they show her pictures where she says that these intimate acts were not evil, but murder is evil. We don't know the context of when this was said and why, and so it's hard to judge on that. Was she trying to say, what he's doing there isn't as evil as he turned out to be. It just doesn't make sense to me, even if she was defending him, that she would even say that. It doesn't make sense. But there are a lot of people out there who believe that Jen has something to do with this, that she knows more and she's leading on. But I'm not certain about that. I'm wondering, you know, about Jen's mental state and how she was fatigued. Was she being drugged? Things, there's a lot of questions for me on this case. I believe Jen has some ghost in her closet that might explain why everything is so dysfunctional and toxic in her life. And I still, to this day, cannot believe that this man was so narcissistic that he could stand beside her during this time the child's missing, knowing what he did to her, allegedly, and still to this day have no remorse and no accountability for what he did. We're hearing that his dad is basically saying, did we ever know Stephan? While his father is kind of questioning who Stephan is, his mother, on the other hand, is defending him and trying to baby him in jail. She's even trying to post most of the blame on Jen. I believe the people who are following this case legitimately care whether they agree of whether or not, Jen is responsible or not responsible, and that the most important thing is to find justice and truth for Maddie so that she can rest peacefully. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you would, please take a moment to subscribe, like, comment, and say hello. Share your thoughts below of what you feel about Jen Soto. Do you think that she knew the entire time? Love you guys. See you guys soon.